Chapter 5, Profit Maximization. In this chapter, we're going to talk about what it takes to make profit and how much businesses can maximize their profit by paying attention to their cost. And specifically, we're going to look at a special type of cost called marginal cost. So remember that profit is how much revenue you brought in, and revenue is the money that you bring in when you sell your goods. That's the same as price times quantity on your supply and demand graph. And then if you subtract all of your costs, everything it took you to make the product, you will have profit left over. Now, we always assume that a business is in business not just to make a profit, but to maximize their profit. So the business is going to take the resources that they have available and try to make as much profit as possible from the resources that they have. Marginal cost is really important to tell the business when they should stop producing units or when producing units will start becoming less profitable. Remember, the term marginal means the difference in or the change in. So, marginal cost is the difference in total cost if you just produce one more unit. So, if I want to print up one more t shirt, how much money is it going to cost me just to make one more? I have to buy the t shirt itself, I have to buy the ink, I have to pay the worker. Some products can't be made in just one unit. Some products have to be made in batches of units. So, in this particular set of videos, I'm going to talk about a business like a bakery. And if you are a baker and you want to create a bakery and bake cookies, it's really difficult to make only one cookie. So, most people make a batch of cookies. So, marginal cost would be if I want to make one more batch of cookies, how much cost would I have to pay in ingredients, in running the shop, and paying the workers in order to produce that particular batch. And marginal cost tells the producer when to stop producing units. So if it would take me $100 to make a batch of cookies, and I can only sell those for $99, then I'm going to lose money on that batch. So I should not make it. All right, so here's an example. I've come up with a Jack, our baker, and here is the total quantity he can make. So every batch of cookies, he's going to make 100 at a time. His particular recipe makes 100. And this is the total cost added up as we produce units. Now, the change in quantity over here on the left is how many units he will be increasing in production every time he makes a batch. So that's always going to be 100 because his recipe always creates 100 cookies. But you'll notice that on the total cost line, his costs are going to change because sometimes when you make a batch of cookies, you're going to need to buy more things. You have to go out and buy more flour or more eggs or more sugar every time you make a batch. And at some point you might need to buy a second oven or hire more workers or, keep the lights and air conditioning on for a longer period of time. So on the right here, we have our change to total cost. Now, marginal cost is going to be the change in total cost divided by the change in quantity. So for every cookie I made in that first batch of 100, it cost me $2 a cookie. The second batch cost me $2.50 a cookie. The third batch, $3.33, and you see how we're going. The marginal cost is rising here because as you produce more batches of cookies, you need to buy more and more inputs.